So let's start talking about how consumers maximize their utility. Or utility maximization might have been a better way to put this. Anyway, maximizing utility. And so consumers have a limited budget. To purchase goods and services. So they're going to have to make choices between different goods in terms of what they want to buy. So they must make choices about which goods and services to purchase. And how much, I should say, and how much. So not only which, but how much of each, and how much to purchase. Or consume, I should say. So consumers have limited budgets, so they have to make a choice. Remember, one of our principles of economics, they have to make choice here. And they have to figure out what combinations and goods and services that they want to purchase to maximize their utility. So it must make choices about which goods and services and how much to purchase and consume in order to maximize their utility. And so we're going to think about consumers now, how they're, right now we're going to think about how consumers are choosing what goods and services to buy, is that they're going to look at which of these goods and services give them the biggest bang for their buck. Consumers choose which goods to consume and purchase based on what goods give them the greatest or the largest. Let's do this and think. Bang for their buck. And what I mean by bang for their buck, or marginal utility per dollar. So that's what I mean by bang for your buck, or bang for their buck. Okay, so consumers have a limited budget to buy their goods and services. So they're gonna have to make choices about which of these goods and services they're gonna buy, and they're gonna make these choices to maximize their total utility. So total utility here is what I mean. And how they're going to do that is that they're going to choose the goods, they're going to make purchasing decisions and consumption decisions based on which goods are going to give them the biggest bang for their buck. And so which goods give them the greatest marginal utility per dollar they spend. So that's how we're going to think about their decisions about what to consume. The optimal combination of goods and services, or the combination of goods and services that maximize utility, is called the optimal consumption bundle. So they're bundles of goods, and it's going to be optimal because it maximizes your utility. So maybe what I'm trying to say here is that the combination of goods and services that maximize their utility, their total utility, we're going to call that group of goods and services the optimal consumption bundle. So let's simplify things just a little bit by just looking at two different goods. So simplify things by looking at just two goods. So we have good X and we have good Y. So those are our two goods. This is good number one and good number two. Good X and good Y. All right, so how consumers are maximizing their utility is going to be looking at their bang, comparing the bang for their buck between these two goods. So they're going to be comparing the margin utility of good X divided by the price. This is the bang for buck of good X. And they're going to be comparing that. So equals or less than or greater than, we don't know right now, but that's what they're going to be doing when they make their decisions, to the bang for their buck about good Y. So the margin utility of good Y divided by the price of good Y. Now, I mean, in case it's not obvious, the reason we're dividing by price is that things cost different amounts of money. So maybe buying a really nice car would give you a lot of margin utility, buying that first really nice car or house or clothing or whatever. But we have to account for the fact that these goods have different prices as well. So that's why we're dividing by price. And so on this right-hand side is the bang for the buck. Bang for buck of Y, of good Y. All right, so this is how consumers are optimizing or maximizing their utility. Is that they're comparing this bang for their buck, in this case, between just these two goods, X and Y. At the optimal bundle, or with the optimal bundle, maybe that's a better way of saying it, or at the optimal bundle of good X of X and Y. So the optimal number of purchases and consumption of good X and Y, we're going to have an equality between these bang for your buck equations. So this is what's going to give us the optimal consumption bundle, is purchasing and using all of our budget until the margin utility of X divided by the price of X equals the margin utility of Y over the price of Y. The bundle of X and Y, maybe I should say when spending whole budget, is going to be this. So this is going to be our maximization criteria. We want to spend our whole budget, and we're going to keep on purchasing goods to spend our whole budgets, and at the optimal, the margin utility of the bang for your buck of good X is going to be equal to the bang for the buck of good Y. The margin utility of X over the price of X equals the margin utility of Y over the price of Y. Let's quickly look at an example to see kind of how this would work in terms of coming up with this kind of optimal consumption bundle.